player, and I've been playing professionally for 15 years, touring with a whole bunch of interesting different projects, including a Broadway show. I played with a Celtic rock band for a long time, and I was also a member of Barrage, and now I have my own solo project featuring lots of different fiddle styles. And the question I get asked all the time is, how do I start playing fiddle music? Well, I'm here today to talk to you about some ways that you can start incorporating this new sound into your practice right now. This is going to be your lesson on fiddle practice essentials. And before I get going too far, let me just say I am a big fan of the Kaplan Vivo strings. That's what I have on my fiddle right now with the non-whistling E. And that's what I use all the time, especially on stage. I want you to feel like you can start playing different styles of music right away. And what do you do to get that special sound? This is the sound that's going to unlock new doors for you. It's going to get you new gigs, and you're going to have more fun. So here are some things you can do right away. We're going to start with just some things you can put into your warm-up that will really start to impact your playing pretty drastically right from the top. And the first thing is just how you think about your warm-up. Of course, we want to warm up vibrato and all those beautiful things we're going to use in our classical rep, but when you're going to be playing fiddle music, you want to warm up those sounds too. So we need to practice our scale with a straight tone, and we also need to practice with a backbeat. This means putting the emphasis on the 2 and 4 of each group of beats. So let's try just a G 2-octave scale. Again, 2 octaves because we want to practice being in first position, so we're really ready to take advantage of all that ease of playing. 2 octaves, G scale, putting the emphasis on the backbeat. It sounds like this. Let's try it together again, a little bit faster. 1, 2, 1, and 2. And you'll notice just in that, we've also done it in both directions with our bow, which is a great way to get going on this. All right, let's try it with a different bowing this time. We're going to do 2 slurred, 2 separate. Still putting the emphasis on the backbeat, okay? The opposite, don't do this, would sound like this. Don't do that. Erase it from your mind. We want the emphasis on the backbeat because that's how we're going to start to really feel like fiddle players who are thinking very rhythmically. All right, 2 slurred, 2 separate. Here we go again. 1, 2, ready, and. Excellent. Let's do the reverse. So we're going to do 2 separate, 2 slurred, but accent still in the same spot. Great. Now the last one I like to put into this is doing 1 separate and 3 slurred. So this is going to give you a really interesting little pull on that note. See how that makes an accent where you put that down bow pull? Okay, so now let's move that. We're going to go separate, down, up, and then start with a down bow pull, and that gets us off to the races with our 3-note slurs. So that'll put the slur across the bar, which is exactly where we want it to be for a lot of fiddle styles. Try it with me. Down, up, down, up. Now, these are just fun ways you can start incorporating this sound into your scale. So no vibrato, playing with different bowings, putting the accents in different places. You can do this with 3-octave scales if you want to, but I always recommend finding ways to start from first position, because when you're playing fast fiddle tunes, generally, that's where you're going to be. So mess around with it, see if you want to try something a little bit faster. It could be something like this. And you can always pause this video and have a mess around with that. Okay, the next thing you want to incorporate into our practice as we're thinking more like fiddle players is arpeggios that make sense for things we might use in variations or soloing. So if we're in the key of G, we want to play a G major arpeggio, but let's do it from first position. Again, no vibrato. This time, can you add a seventh to that arpeggio? So that's adding the F sharp. Okay, let's try E minor. E minor. And again, I'm just playing these as I can in first position, making them really available. Try that E minor again, starting on the B. Awesome. Okay, C major. Sometimes I do an extension up to that fourth finger. Again, first position, D major. Next one. Just a simple shift up to third and back to first position. This time, let's add in a flat 7 on that. So we're going to make this the dominant 7 chord. Okay, so cycle through scales and arpeggios in this way to start developing that fiddle sound. We're thinking about arpeggios from first position that are really easy to get to, that are really functional. So it's putting that theory into our hands in a way that we can really use as we start to build variations, build solos, start having fun with that. And what I always like to finish with after doing that is just a little bit of creative play. We've done all these scales, we've done all of the hard work to really figure out where those arpeggios are in your hand. Now mess around for a little bit. It's your time to just do a little free creative solo in G major, knowing all the things that you have in your hand right now. Sound completely different than mine, and that's a great thing. This is just your time to discover your creative voice. Start developing that new fiddle sound and just think about your scales and arpeggios a little differently to start bringing those fiddle practice essentials into your everyday warm-up. All right, happy fiddling, friends. I hope you enjoyed this. Hopefully I'll see you again soon for another version of Sound Advice.